Hello and welcome to the Clock End Talk, an Arsenal podcast. But this time of year, we are talking Euros. I'm your host, Tez. You can get me at Guna Tez. You can get Tony on the show at the Clock End Talk. Tony, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Just ready for the semis now.
What a game. What a game. Italy v Spain. Last night, I'm putting bets on. I said to the boys, look, I'm thinking a 1-0 win to Italy or 1-1 draw. I'm all over the shop, and in the end, I went Italy to win. So I lost. Tough game to pick. Italy now through to the finals. When it come down to penalties that game, I thought I didn't think Italy would do it. You know, like Spain, they're just so good. And Morata, he was the hero, and then he was the villain. It was. I was saying to you just before we started recording, I said I actually feel sorry for the bloke. Like, you're the hero 1 minute, and next minute you fucking miss the penalty, lose the game, and you're out of the Euros.
Yeah, I mean, I fancied Italy when it went to penalties. Just you look and Spain I know they won the last round on penalties, but they've not got a great record from penalties even during this tournament. Moreno, Morata have both already missed them in normal, and then they missed a few in the shootout against Switzerland the other day. I can't remember who it was, who the two players were. So they've got that feeling of missing them in the tournament where, to be fair to Italy, I don't think they've even had any, but it means they've not got that doubt in their mind about missing them. Also, I just feel like that the Spain team, the problem it has the whole time you look at them and you go, oh, they're good, they're technically good, but they're not clinical. And then you look at Italy, and it feels like they don't actually get too many chances, but they score them when they do. I mean, obviously, Chiesa and Insigne are a big part of that, and both of them have gone off by the time it comes to penalties. But it's just that sort of image you get where Italy are clinical and Spain are not.
I you've got a little bit of Spanish in you, background and whatnot. The Spaniards, are they going to be very? I know they're disappointed, right? But Luis Enrique, for me, fucked it up. Why would you not start Morata? They've got to be going off and blowing up, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a weird one because obviously playing a false nine, especially in the first half, it kind of worked. It stopped Spain pressing. It meant they could dominate the ball. Obviously, it didn't give them that threat in behind, but it's always difficult. You know, I'm going to bring it back to the Premier League, but you get teams like Brighton where people go, well, if they had a finisher, they'd be top 10, top 7, whatever.
Yeah.
The thing is, they've got players that do all that running. And if you take away a bit of that running and put a finisher in there, then they lose a lot of what they're good at. And it's not a case of their players. And I feel like that with Spain, obviously they didn't have Morata to sort of run in behind, but they dominated the ball, especially. Yeah, because they dominated the extra passes. So it's one of them. It's not always as easy as it looks.
That was a shock for me, to be honest. When I woke up, I was a bit shocked that Morata didn't start.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. It was a surprise, but it's not like
you understand why.
Yeah.
The other one, I actually said to you for the Italy. I wasn't sure who was going to start, whether it was going to be Verratti, Jorginho. Who was the other guy? I'm trying to. Or Locatelli. I don't know. I don't know if that was the right move either.
Since the group stage, it's been so. Locatelli played the first two when Verratti wasn't fit, and then apart from that, they pretty much had the same team. They changed Berardi for Chiesa, which I was surprised they started with Berardi. I don't know if, at the start of the tournament, I don't know if Chiesa was carrying injury because I can't say I've seen him loads, but I've probably seen him 10 times. I feel like he's been unbelievable every time I've seen him. But apart from that, their team's pretty set. I think Locatelli just played while Verratti wasn't fit. But apart from that, there's not many changes. And look, we don't know if there's been any like injuries or fatigue tonight. But if you look ahead to the final, I think they go with the same 11 again in the final. I think their team pretty much picks itself. And obviously they lost Spinazzola last week or last game. So then there was the one change of Emerson coming in for him. I think their team's been pretty solid. I was actually, when you asked me this morning, was really surprised because I felt like their team's just one that, as I said, picks itself really.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I could see Barella starting, and I wasn't sure whether Jorginho was going to start, Verratti, or Locatelli, and that was where I was coming. I kind of knew Belotti wasn't going to be there, and I think that was a very bad substitution. I don't know if people out there mightn't agree with me, but when Insigne went off and Belotti came on, I thought, fuck, I know who I'd rather be. I understand with Immobile because I don't think he's done much in the last 2 games.
Yeah, but in all fairness to Mancini, they were 1-0 up when he took Immobile off and he brought on Berardi, so he was going without a striker. And then Spain equalised, so he needed to get a striker on the pitch. And obviously, Chiesa had scored, Berardi had just come on, so the only real option to get a striker on the pitch was Insigne. And look, I'm a huge Insigne fan. But if you're looking at who was on the pitch and you need to get a striker on, he was really the only option.
Mm-hmm.
And he did have a run just before that where, I mean, it probably didn't make much difference, but he was kind of in from the halfway line and he was running and he ended up having to check back because he knew he didn't have the pace. And sometimes that can make it look like you're tired, even if you're not, even if it's just because the guy's quicker than you. When you sort of turn and don't try and make it to the goal, it just subliminally, like in people's heads, they can go, "Oh, is he a bit tired? He didn't make that run."
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could have been. Look, and I know the game changed with 10 to go, and it was like, Italy was playing counter-attacking. They go into solid defence. They're up 1-0. So I'm not criticising anybody. And look, Italy, it paid off. They went through, but at the time, I was, I don't know, but also I had a bet on Insigne as well. So, but yeah, it's Italy are through. England played Denmark. It's kind of hard to go back to games, but because we know who's in the final. England absolutely annihilated Ukraine 4-0. You could say the first half of the game was, you guys led 1-0, and then I was almost thought they're not really going for the juggernaut, like England were just in cruise control, and then all of a sudden, bang, 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 and you're 4-0 up. Seeing what you just saw then, Spain v Italy, are you guys rather play Italy over Spain?
I don't know. Look, first of all, I'm not particularly confident in getting there. I mean, ever since the sides of the draw were made, obviously Germany was the big threat. But I said it on here, I'm worried about Denmark. I said that from the moment it was possible that we could have to play them. I think Denmark are very good, very underrated. So I don't want to, I'm going to answer your question, but I'm not overlooking Denmark at all because I'm not entirely confident we'll get there.
Yep.
Who would I have rather played? Look, I think Italy are better, to be honest, but Spain are probably the harder team for England to play against because they keep the ball, they starve you of possession. You can't really make them runs in behind because you've never got the fucking ball. Then they're going to make chances.
Against Italy, they close the gaps, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think against Italy, you won't get many chances because they're good defensively, but you'll have the ball for a start. They'll let you have the ball.
Yeah.
They're not the quickest at fullback, especially on either side, especially with Spinazzola out. So players like Sterling can get in behind, and also that against Italy, you need to be clinical. They will give you 2 or 3 chances, and I feel like, especially with Kane, that's quite suited to England. That if you give him 2 or 3 chances, the normal Harry Kane is getting 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 goals in them chances. So I think Italy are better, but probably matchmaking wise are probably the better team for England to play if we get there.
Okay. Look, and it's very, I know, and I don't want to put the mocker on you boys either because look, years have been very good. I've got a soft spot for Denmark after what happened. Everybody in the world probably does. They're going in with a lot of emotions. Can they do it? I believe they can. Last time you guys played them, They did beat you.
We played them twice in the Nations League. One of them we was down to 10 men for pretty much the whole game, and I think the other one was 0.
Yep. So you know they can. I look at the odds here. I'm looking at Bet365 $1.72 for England favourites, $5.25 for Denmark, and I'll be honest that's hard. Like Denmark at $5.20, they're very capable. I'm going to just have a look at who's picking what. I'll vote Denmark, but everybody's on England. 42,000 votes. Everyone's
that's just how it is because English people use
Yeah.
websites. England are always like that. What is, I think, if you're tempted by Denmark, I think that to qualify is probably a better bet.
You thinking this will end in a draw?
No, but it gives you that chance.
Yep. Okay. If you had to have a bet, England, Denmark, who are you on? Or what are you betting? Under 2.5?
I don't know, because I said this the other day. Denmark are quite fast and free-flowing and a bit open. I don't know. I can't see a high-scoring game, but then you look at Denmark and you go, I think they've only had one game that has been under 2.5, and that was the first one, where obviously we know what happened. So it's a tough one. And also, this isn't from my usual guy, so I'm not 100% yet. Like, usually I'll tell you the team the day before.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not 100%, and I've also been told not to release it, but fuck that. I think England, Sancho for Saka. Saka for Sancho is the only change, I think. As I said, I've not been 100% confirmed yet. So
I'm just looking at their probable lineup here, and they've got Sancho in.
Is it the same as last? I can't see it. It's small on my screen.
Okay, it's on the screen.
Same as last week.
Sancho, Mason, Sterling, Kane, Phillips.
Yeah.
Declan
So
Rice.
that. So what I think it is that, but Saka for Sancho.
Yep. It's a pretty strong lineup, actually.
I mean, their squad's so big and so strong. I think both. I mean, anyone who plays.
You've got to go there.
Well, no, but it's a strong team anyway. Like you say, they're strong, but then some people go, "I want Sancho, I want Grealish, I want Henderson, I want whoever." It's just a strong
the
squad.
probable line of Denmark. They've got a pretty good squad there. I'm just wondering
who is they got Kaya in? Is Kaya in now?
Kasper Dolberg starting.
Yeah, so Poulsen, I still don't think he's fit for 90.
Okay. So he'll be on the bench.
And Dolberg's been scoring, to be fair. So I think he's got 3 in the last 2. So it'd be a bit harsh to drop him. The other one is Kaya has been past fit. So there was doubts about him. He went off injured, I think, in the Czech Republic game. Or I don't know if he went off injured, but he limped off the pitch at the end of the game. But
that's that Simon Kaya.
Centre back.
Yeah, they've got him there as a centre back, but
so he's been past fit today.
Yep. Okay, there you go. I'll have a close look at markets later for you guys who do follow on Punting Pirates, but it's a tough one. I've also got a couple of questions coming through, or more so, I dare say that's Rob, my Italian mate. He's Forza, and there's another guy. It's coming home. So he's confident. I can't see because it says Facebook users. So, I can't predict it yet. My gut says England. Actually, I think my head even says England. Denmark. They're going to be playing on passion. They're going to put everything into it, no doubt. And I just for me, I see an England victory. Not a high scoring one. I'm like at a 2-1 or something like that. I think Denmark will get one on his. Mate, where are we going to go? Because there's not really. I don't really want to go back too much on the games that were Tony last week, so because we kind of know where it is. Belgium, obviously they disappeared with Italy beating them.
That was just. I know we don't want to go into too much, but that was another really good game. And this is. I'm not sure if it's a weakness. Italy have been great to watch, but the group stages were kind of boring because they just battered everyone. But the Austria game was really good, and obviously it was extra time 2-1. Then the Belgian game 2-1 again, but a really really good game. Today, good game, penalties, so extra time again.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't know if a good game would suit England if we get there. I mean, if it's Italy Denmark in the final, the game would be fucking amazing to watch. Apart from I'll be sulking.
If it's Italy Denmark, yeah, it'd be a good game. I think I'd rather an England Italy.
Yeah, no.
That would be a really good game.
In terms of competitive, I think most people would say they'd prefer England. But I just mean in terms of visually how good it is to watch. Because England are not. We're very effective. I don't think we're good to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
yeah.
you look at the other day. I mean, the first goal is a crazy ball from Sterling.
Yep.
Just if it wasn't Sterling, people would be going mad about it. But because he's seen as a guy with a bit of a bad touch and whatnot, it's just seen as it was lucky or whatever. But then the other three are all set pieces, two set pieces and a cross. Like, we don't play free flowing football. We play very efficient football. Which I'm not saying that's a negative, but I'm saying that is unlikely to lead to a game where you go, wow, what a game. Like, even the Germany game, we were good. Well, we were efficient, but you didn't come out of that thinking, fuck me, what a game of football. I could watch that again. Whereas tonight's game, I'm not going to, but if there was highlights on later, you'd watch them.
Oh, yeah. And in saying that, you know what? I was looking back at all your games yesterday, and Germany, like, for me, that was you guys cementing your position on this tournament. Like, to beat Germany 2-0, I was like, that's right. Like, this England team are a good England team. Like, I know, Germany they're no pushovers, but 2-0 victory over them. Well done.
Yeah, I think this England team are good and efficient. They're just not, like, as I said, they're not free-flowing open football that you're going to be wowed watching. And it's not really a negative, because a lot of good teams that win stuff, like probably one of the best international teams we've seen in recent times was the Spain team that done Euros, World Cup Euros back to back. They were fucking boring. Like, they were amazing.
Yeah.
Like, Xavi and Iniesta, Villa, Torres, like, they were unbelievable, but they were boring.
But boring.
Like, so it's not. Do you know what I mean? Boring. It isn't a negative in sense. I'm not saying England are boring. They're shit. I hate them. But I'm saying don't expect a game where it's like fucking end to end. Wow, I need to watch that again.
Spain, Italy. Look, I will. Like I said, I'll talk about that a little bit more in the group as well. England v Denmark for my bets. For you boys who are listening via Punting Pirates for tips, I at this stage I've got nothing. I've watched so much football this week, I can't even keep up with where I am, because I have been watching a little bit of the Copa America. I don't know if you've been watching any, Tony, because it is at a weird stage for you, a weird time, I should say, isn't it? So
it's a weird time, and a lot of it looks like obviously it's going to be a Brazil-Argentina final, and I'll probably watch that. But to be honest, I know Brazil beat Peru yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah,
I couldn't give a shit. Like, it sounds
okay. Yeah.
No, it's just like, who Peru got that you go, I want to watch them.
No. But I'm actually gonna defend Peru here a little bit.
I know. I'm not saying they're bad, but before the game, before you watch it, you don't look at their team sheet and go, "Fucking, I've got to watch that." Like, even tonight, obviously it's a semi. But you look at tonight and you go, "I want to see Verratti. I want to see Chiesa. I want to see Insigne." You look at Peru, and again, I'm not saying they're bad, but you look at them and you think,
"Who do I want to watch?"
I watch Love Island.
Fucking you and your Love Island. I watched the Brazil-Peru game, and for me, I don't think Brazil are going to win this. I watched them against Chile as well. They won 1-0. I think that was the game they went into 10 men.
It was a game where Gabriel Jesus kicked someone in the face.
Yeah, that was right. Yeah, I think that was against Chile. Now, Peru surprised me over Paraguay. To be honest, they got there against Brazil. Brazil were $1.20 favourites. Peru were $12 at this yesterday, and I thought, holy fuck! Now, I expected Brazil to go on and beat Peru 4-0. Brazil dominated the first half. Brazil, dominated the first half. Peru came out in the second half and absolutely played some really, really good football. I have no idea who they got. I have no idea who half the fucking players are or where they're from, but geez, they played some good football. I just want to touch quickly, and the reason I'm bringing it up is Neymar. Someone over there at Brazil, the manager or whatnot, they have just said to Neymar, you do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. And let me tell you, Neymar needs to be reeled in because I don't know if you've watched anything, Tony, but all he does is these little flicky, tricky, I'm a show pony kind of guy. And I think it's massively costing Brazil. Like, yeah, they're into the final. If Argentina get there, even Colombia, I don't think they're going to win it. For me, they're just not even good.
It's difficult though, especially with Neymar. I mean, because he's definitely their best player, but also the identity of Brazil is that like flair, flicky, and they're in danger of losing their identity. That's not saying they won't still be good, but they don't want to lose like what culturally is what Brazil is like flary and I think he's maybe the last of that, and they're kind of trying to hang on to it. And then it's a difficult one because if you leave, like, because especially there, you want to tell him like, don't bother run back because he ain't going to do it anyway. So then it's kind of like you're giving him a free license, and then that becomes when he's on the ball, he also thinks he's got a free license. He's also probably their only player that can win the game on his own. Like, I know it can be annoying and frustrating when he's doing tricks all the time rather than the simple thing, but he could equally go and beat 5 players and score. Like, whereas the others haven't really got that. So, and it's always difficult. You can't go from 0 to beating 5 players. There's always got to be that build up. You do your little tricks and you get used to it. You get a feel for things, and then it mounts up and mounts up. So it's
he's
difficult.
Just painful to watch.
He's always, you know what? But you'll have people that think Neymar's shit, and then you'll have other people that go, he's easily in the top 5 players in the world. I think that's just on what you like, basically. I think he's incredible.
I like watching him. I like
frustrating,
watching him.
But But as I said, you'll speak to people, and you'll know some people, and I know some people, and you go Neymar, and they'll go, show pony shit falls over all the time. And you're like, well, if that's shit, I don't want to know what good is.
Yeah, I do get it. It was frustrating was the word. Probably, it was frustrating to watch him. I was like, fuck. Yeah. Anyway, they're through to the final in the Copa America. Argentina, Colombia play in a couple of hours. I've got a couple of little bets on, little tips. Definitely Messi to shot on target. Definitely Messi for a goal. There is another one for an assist and Messi a shot on target. And you're getting about $5 for that. Like, I'm happy to fucking throw that. I got the game against Ecuador, I think it was, and Messi was very similar to score a goal and an assist. He got the assist early, but if you haven't watched, and those who may not have sat there and watched the game, go and watch Messi's free kick against Ecuador in about the 90th minute. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw someone say they had a bet on Messi to score from outside the box, and I've seen the free kick, but I think, was it originally given as a penalty and then VAR changed it to a free kick? Well, it was right on the edge, whatever, because they were saying to me.
It was on the edge. It was outside the box. So.
Yeah, what they were saying to me, that they thought a penalty was going to be given, and they were like, oh, fuck's sake, that's the bet gone. And then the free kick was given, and obviously he scored, so it was outside the box.
Yeah. It was fucking Messi. Like, wow. That's just wow, Messi. So that was a good little hit, and that was around the $5 mark too. So, okay, mate, that's about it. Look, I said to you before we come on, I didn't want to go too much into this. It's late there for you. I really only want to do half an hour. So I've spoke Euros, I've spoke Copa America. Just quickly, I'm just going to touch on some Arsenal news in a minute. I just wanted to have a look at where am I? Who's leading the goal scoring market in the Euros?
Stick and Ronaldo are still top with 5. So there's the 3s that are left in are Dolberg, Kane, Sterling. I don't think Italy have got any frees. So what's still left in the highest is free. Kane, Sterling, and
Okay.
double move. I'm not sure if there's
Okay.
anyone else. I know them three have definitely got free though.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, I'll yeah, sweet. Well, we'll get off that. News. Guendouzi, Arsenal news. Those who aren't Arsenal fans can switch off now. Guendouzi's gone, mate. He's gone. It was a loan with an option to buy.
So it's been weird how it's been reported. So in France, and I don't know the reason why, they do really weird loan deals. So I was telling someone this example earlier. When PSG signed Mbappe, they signed him on loan and it was called a loan with an option to buy, but they had to buy them if they didn't get relegated. Obviously, it's PSG who had spent 200 million on Neymar, 165 essentially on Mbappe. So they're obviously not going to go down.
I remember that deal. I remember that.
Yeah, it's just a stupid clause that they do. So apparently with Guendouzi, it's an appearance based and they've just called it achievable, but I don't know what it is. So it could be, I'm not saying it is, but it could be we have to sign him permanently if he plays one game. Like,
oh wow,
so,
okay.
No, because Arsenal, basically from the Arsenal side, it's coming out that it's almost guaranteed. But so then, what is the clause? Do you know what I mean? We don't know, but everyone seems to think it's almost guaranteed. So it could be a really achievable, maybe 5 games. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it'll be permanent, judging by the news coming out from both sides.
You okay with that? You happy?
Yeah, I've never rated him. Never rated him. And look, if he had his head screwed on, would he be worth more? Of course. Like, he's not shit. I don't rate him, but he's not shit. But his attitude, as I said, for me, most people think he's a good player, but he's a bit of an arsehole. I'm not entirely sure he's a good player, and he's also an arsehole. But yes, he should be worth more, but he falls out with everyone all the time. He fell out with Arsenal numerous times. He fell out with PSG as a youngster, fell out with Lorient before we brought him, fell out with Hertha Berlin, and he was only on loan there. So what can you do?
Yeah, no, look, I'm happy. I'm fine. Like, yeah, I think he may have been a player in there somewhere with Guendouzi, but I just think his young attitude. I've said it here on the podcast a number of times. He just has that. I've made it at Arsenal, like that young player, big club ambition or something. Like I'm just trying to think of. Well, Nelson, he's another one. Reece Nelson. It's like I play for Arsenal, but I don't really play for Arsenal. You get what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think there's more to Guendouzi than that. I think he's just an arsehole.
Fair enough.
Do you know, I remember this so clearly after his 3rd game for us. I said he wasn't good, and I got absolutely hammered for it on here.
You did?
And you'll remember because there was a kid went and done another podcast moaning that I said Guendouzi wasn't good, like trying to hammer me. Like, he just, I don't know what he was good at. He looked like he tried hard, which is lovely.
Yep.
But he didn't really have an effect on the game. He was shocking defensively. He's one of the worst midfielders I've ever seen at Arsenal defensively. He passed the ball. He was neat, but he didn't contribute anything going forward, really. I think he ended his Arsenal career with 1 goal and a couple of assists, maybe less than 5 assists, and he played 50-odd games. So he was horrendous defensively and didn't offer much going forward. So,
I think a lot of people like the fact that he tried. I did say it. I think like people watched it and went, "Oh yeah, but he tries hard."
Do you know what? I get that because I always used to say, like when I first started going, when I had a season ticket, started going home and away every week, like, and everyone knows I love Jack Wilshere. But my point was, I get that not everyone can be as good as he was at his best, but why everyone can't try as hard will never, ever, ever make sense to me. So I understand people.
He always
liking
tries
Guendouzi
hard.
for trying. Yeah. So, but I mean, I can understand people liking Guendouzi for trying, but sometimes it's just not quite enough. And sometimes you become a victim of your own success. Like Aaron Ramsey was a bit like that. He always worked his bollocks off. He was probably the fittest player we've had in terms of the amount of pitch he covered. I'm not saying fitness because he was always injured, but he was probably one of the fittest players we had. Probably ran more than anyone else. But he had that season where he scored loads of goals, and then in the next season when he didn't score loads of goals, no one cared that he tried really hard anymore. He was like, "Oh, fuck you, stop scoring." So Guendouzi got away with it because he hadn't done anything better yet. But when he started, which we hoped kicked on to the next level and started doing stuff, then people wouldn't have cared about him trying. I think they only care about you trying when you're not very good.
A couple of others. Looks like Bellerin is on the way out. And did I read Inter or Milan or something?
The press keep linking in with it, Inter, because they've obviously just sold Hakimi. Yeah, because they've just sold Hakimi for 60 odd. The rumours are they want a loan, we want to sell. I really can't see him going anywhere on loan because we would like the money, you'd imagine. So it's I don't know. I think he'll go. He has to go, but I don't know if Inter is the right place if they're only looking for a loan. I'm sure some clubs in Spain would take him.
Who else we got? I seen some news coming through last night on this morning. Awa apparently we've thrown another bid for him.
Alexis Bernard was a guy who tweeted it, and literally I think last year he linked us with a different player every day. There was like a running joke it was obviously WhatsApp at the time, our WhatsApp group. It was like, oh, who's he going to link us with today? So I'm not particularly buying it.
Yeah, okay.
Look, I don't know. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I don't know. And then you look at the journalist who's reported it, and you go, did it really? It's like Indy fucking Kalia. If he reports something, you don't go, oh, we've bid for him. You go, really?
Somebody said, is it L'Equipe? I don't even know the name.
Yeah,
French newspaper thing, but someone said, oh, yeah, but they're very reliable source. And I'm like,
it wasn't from L'Equipe there. I mean, I don't think they are anyway, but it wasn't from them. Okay. But yeah, I mean, so the guy who told me, it's obviously last week when we was on here, the news that we bid for Locatelli kind of was breaking while we was on here. And I said, someone wrote in the comments that I'd heard about that earlier in the day, but like, honestly, because obviously I work getting team news, so I know various people at various clubs. I hear so much shit, and I never bother repeat it because 99% of it is absolute horseshit. But as I said, I'd heard the Locatelli news that morning, and on Sunday, the same person who told me about Locatelli said that we were looking at Sam Johnson because Ramsdale wouldn't be possible, and Renato Sanchez. And they're two names we've been linked with since. So I don't know how true it is, but the guy's got a history of at least being right. I don't know, but then I know a few people at Liverpool, and they're very convinced they're going to get Renato Sanchez. So that's an interesting one. But as far as I know, the interest there is real.
What we got? G'day, lads. Where's Tony? He's next to me on the screen, but maybe on your video. Where is Tony?
Tony just finished boxing. Tony is sitting here in a towel, and no one needs to see that.
The talking clock. That is Tony. This has to be Rob. He's banging on about Italy. Like this bloke is like, yeah. He's Italy, man. You know what? Actually, I'm going to ask Rob because you had a shot at me the other day about how I say pasta. There's no R in pasta. Ever since that day, I've been asking every Aussie, say Pasta. Pasta? What, can't you say that? And I'm like, well, I got told it's pasta.
Well, do you know what? It's the English language is fucked. I mean, I know this is a football podcast, but because if you say something that's happened before, like history, you say it's happened in the past. So then you had an A on that, and it's pasta, which makes sense. But,
yeah.
But then there's loads of things like that. It's where there's loads of words like that. So it's where you draw the syllable. I don't know why we're getting deep into English here, but you can make so many names.
That's just been at the top of my mind since you went, and I went, since you pulled me up for it. I'm like, and then I was thinking to myself, but the Italians, they say Serie A, not Serie A, do they?
Yeah, but that's language.
Yeah,
they don't have the A. But there's loads of words that you can just change by, like, say for example, Arsenal. Like, so that's more AR and then SENAL. But if you say Arsenal, as in ARSENAL, do you know what I mean? It can completely change the word. But yeah, still Pasta.
Two blokes talking English. Okay, a couple more. William Saliba. That's who I want to touch on. He seems like he's not going to make the Arsenal squad at all. Everything I read, he's going on loan, and I don't even know if it's happened.
So this is a weird one. Again, the same guy that told me about Locatelli and blah 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 told me before the news about Saliba potentially going that his agent's offering him around everywhere, and he's agreed deals with basically fucking everyone. Obviously, he had the meeting with Arsenal last week. It seemed like it was all done to Marseille, and then I think that was what the wait for the it seemed like. Sorry, not I think. It seemed like the wait for Guendouzi announcement was that they were trying to do Saliba at the same time. That's what it seemed like from the outside. Because I don't know if you saw, Guendouzi announced he was leaving and then had to delete it. That was yesterday that he deleted it, and then today it became official. So there was obviously something going on, and I thought it was that. But then today it's come out that Marseille don't even really want him. I think they've signed someone else.
Yeah, it's fucking
So that leaves it messy. As far as from what I've read, just mainstream press, he's also agreed terms with, I think it was Nice. It was another team that weren't fantastic. I mean, I don't know. I'd just rather he goes in the Premier League, to be honest.
It is, mate. It's bizarre for me. I don't. It's a signing that, what was 20-something odd million pounds, and he doesn't even look like getting in the Arsenal lineup. It's bizarre.
Well, it's a weird one. Apparently, Arsenal want him to stay, but as I said, his agent's trying to do everything to stop that. But then also, he's 20. He's never played a full season. Like, what's better for him? Staying at Arsenal because we've got no Europe, playing 15 games. Bearing in mind he's never played a full season, or go into Southampton just to pick a team and play in 35 games. What's better for him? What would you say? I would say, ignore Southampton.
I'd send him to Southampton. I want to see what he's like.
But exactly, that's what I'm saying. But I agree with you. But then loads of Arsenal fans are going mad. What do you mean you're sending him on loan and blah blah blah? This club. People just love to moan, and like I
don't want to send him abroad. I don't want to send him abroad to the French. At some point, this kid we've spent money on. At some point, we're going to have to say, okay, what do you got, and send him to whether it be in the Championship or the Premier League.
Yeah, for me, the ideal solution is send him on loan to the Premier League. That is like the best option. I don't think we should keep him this year. But then it's difficult because if he says, well, if I'm not at Arsenal, I want to be in France where I'm comfortable and know people, then it puts you in a really difficult position.
I've just jumped on to the chat so I can see who is commenting. Andy, Man United fan, says, fuck Liverpool. He then again says, Man U. Sancho, it seems like it's happening. And are you a little concerned with that?
No, because the main reason I didn't really want him starting for England was I think he's a million times better on the left than he is on the right. United have clearly brought him to play on the right because all of their players play on the left. You got Rashford, Martial, both fighting for that left wing place. Pogba, when they try and use that weird system, they play Pogba on the left.
I think
none of them can play on the. I don't know. But then none of them play on the right. Greenwood's the only one that can play on the right. Greenwood and Dan James, and neither of them are going to start every game. So I think they've brought Sancho to play that on the right. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's shit, but for me, he's much more effective on the left. And I think people expecting Bundesliga numbers from him are going to be very, very surprised for two reasons. One, the Premier League's not the Bundesliga. And two, his numbers largely come from playing on the other side of the pitch. Even with England the other day, first 40 or so minutes, he wasn't really in the game. And he swapped wings with Sterling. And then at half-time, they swapped back. And I don't know if it's just Man United fans going over the top. I don't think he played bad the other day, but I didn't think he really made an impact on the game, on the England game. But then United fans are trying to tell me he was World Player of the Year. So who knows?
I don't know. Yeah.
No, it's not a bad
I
signing. There's no two
it's a
ways
good
about it. It's
sign.
not a
Yeah,
bad signing.
it's a good sign, but I I like Grealish better. like, but maybe because I've watched him most weeks as well. Like,
Yeah, look, it's funny. There was actually a debate going around on that fantasy Premier League Twitter about that,
yeah,
and it was quite split. It's
yeah, okay.
they're different. They're different. Sancho's a numbers. Not, I'm not saying only numbers because I know someone's going to jump down my throat. But Sancho will always get better numbers than Grealish. I prefer Grealish as a player, but then that would be my answer to over pretty much anyone. I just like the way Grealish plays.
Yeah,
But I mean, look, I can almost guarantee you now that Sancho will finish the season with better numbers than Grealish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I don't know. Like I said, it's probably that I've just watched Grealish more than Sancho. Like,
As I said,
I might catch
I
the odd
prefer to
ones.
watch Grealish. As I said, there's not many players. I don't know if I'm going over the top saying in the world that I would prefer to watch than Grealish because he's
Yeah,
exciting. He gets the ball, he beats players
he
all the
is.
time,
Yeah, he's
and he gets
exciting to
fouled a lot
watch.
because he's always beating people.
I'm hoping to see that from Sancho. To be honest, I
It's
not
very
that I
different.
want to see it too often, but especially against us.
Well, I mean, it's difficult because Grealish will pick the ball up and travel 60, 70 yards regularly. And that's more because of the positioning players. Whereas Sancho is going to be a high up winger. So he's never going to be running sort of more than, look, there's going to be the odd occasion, but in general, he's never going to be traveling more than, say, 20 meters, 20 yards.
Mm.
So it's different. You're not going to see the same thing from them.
I realised that Leif, I see you there, buddy. He says it's coming home on Facebook. He's an Englishman. Just a couple more on Arsenal. If we get the players we're linked with, how do you think we'll fare? And just on that, we are linked to, well, obviously we discussed Awa. We are still getting the Ben White was another one. I believe that deal isn't far away. And we're going to
As far
announce
as,
another one as well.
look, I don't know anything more than anyone else apart from speak to some journalists. As far as I'm concerned, not as far as I know, the Ben White deal's done. Look, I hate the word done, as everyone knows, but for me, the White deal and the Sancho deal to United are in exactly the same place. But Dortmund obviously have to announce because of, we spoke about this last week, the stock market. But as far as I'm concerned, if you consider Sancho done, then Ben White's done.
Okay. There was one more. Nuno
I mean, Tavares and
Tavares.
Lokonga are going to be announced this week.
So that's done, and Lokonga too.
Yeah, so I think Tavares' medical has been booked. He's probably already had it because he's been in England a few days. I think it's the same with Gabriel. He was in England for a while, but because of the self-isolating, they didn't announce him for quite a while, even though he was here. I'd imagine that's the case with Tavares. He's been here since, was it Friday? So he's been in England.
Was that the one that Fabrizio? Is it? Did he post the photo online? Yeah. Was that Tavares? Was it?
Yeah. So I think that was Friday. He flew over. So he's been in England for nearly a week now. So if they wait until the end of his isolation, it's 10 days. So if he did come on Friday, I think the announcement will probably be next Monday. If they wait till the thing. Lokonga, I think the fees all agreed, the paperwork's all done, no medical scheduled yet, but it shouldn't be too long. He didn't go on, so Anderlecht went away for a pre-season training camp yesterday. He didn't go, so that looks like that's just waiting basically the last formalities. When the question asked, what do I think we can do with our rumoured signings at the moment? We're not any better than we were last year. But then even
are you excited or not by any of them new signings? Yeah.
Look, I like White. I don't like Leno behind him. I touched on this last week. I don't like Leno behind him. That's the problem, but it is what it is. As of right now, we're the same team we were last season. Like, I know we can go, but this person's probably going to go and that person's probably going to come in. But as of right now, if you look at our strongest team, is it the same as it was last season? What's changed? Nothing.
Well, Rick is asking, are we going to buy a right back or just roll with Chambers? For me, we've got to roll. We've got to buy a right back, haven't we, if Bellerin goes?
Yeah, I agree. It's something we've not really been linked with anyone. I think the first week or so of the window, we was linked with everyone, but I think that was
Yep.
more the press going, "Oh, Arsenal need a right back. Let's just put names out there."
Just pick one. Yeah.
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 But then since then, there's been no actual proper links to anyone. So I don't know. I feel like we need one, but who knows? I mean, teams are going to be looking at Barcelona with their financial trouble, and I've been looking at their squad today, thinking, who could you potentially get?
Griezmann.
And he's on about £1 million a week. No, but then you can't. Do you know what I mean? In positions we need and are probably realistic. And you look at Dest. I don't know if he's good enough. Americans will probably kill me for saying that, but that's the right back you could probably get from them. You ain't going to get a holding midfielder from them if you're looking at positions we need, because
I was just thinking of a midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, like Pedri's
Is
not
it
going.
Pedri? He's not going though, is he?
He's a joke. He's unbelievable. He's got to be fake.
He's good. He's brilliant.
But then like Biscuits ain't going anywhere. Like you're not getting any of them out. Frankie ain't going anywhere. Not that I rate him, but he's not going anywhere. So do you know what I mean? When you look at positions you need, and
Fred,
because they're gonna get raided big time. Well, not on their own terms in a sense, but look at Pjanic. I think he's too old. 4 years ago, I'd fucking bit your hand off for him, but he's basically going to be available on a free by the sounds of things.
Are they really that bad, Barcelona? Are they that desperate at the moment, are they?
Yeah, so I don't understand how the wage limit works in Spain, but they have to cut their wage bill by 200 million a year. Otherwise, they can't. So they've signed Aguero, Depay, Eric Garcia, and someone else. I can't remember who it is, but they can't officially register them because they're over their wage allocation allowance. And that's why Messi. Yeah, so that's why Messi hasn't. At the moment, Messi is technically unemployed. His contract ended last week, but they can't sign him because of their wage issues. So they have to essentially get 200 million off the wages. They pay so high that it probably won't be that much of a problem but then the players are kind of, so they said to Umtiti and Pjanic, you can go for free basically. And they've both refused because they're on such high money. There's another guy who they
Coutinho. I'm just thinking of in that squad.
There's another, but then Dembele's out for a few months. Obviously got injured in the Hungary game, was it? Then there's another guy who I'd never heard of. They signed him. He played once and then he went on loan. And they just released him this week, I think. And he's trying to sue them for ruining his career, essentially. I don't really understand what's going on. But yeah, the long and short of it is they have to get rumoured 200 million off their wage bill.
Fucking hell. What fucking imbecile let this happen? Like, dead set.
The problem with them is they were the best team in the world a long time, and they got not lucky because their academy is great and they built it, but they had so many academy players and one by one they've tried to replace them with big money. So Iniesta went, obviously not retired, but he finished, his legs were gone, and they spent a shitload on Coutinho. Xavi was gone, they spent a lot of money on Frankie. Whoever, Griezmann came in to probably replace someone. Dembele, the same sort of thing. And then you look at the back, Puyol went, PK's on his last legs. I know he's still there. Who did they have it right back?
What a fucking mess.
But they just tried to replace they've tried to be the team they were. Like, look, football runs in cycles. Like, look at Man United. They were the best team in the Premier League comfortably for 25 years. And then the last 5 or 6 years, they've not been very good. And they've gone kind of down the Barca route. Not as crazy, but they've tried to throw money at the problem. And as I said, it just hasn't worked for Barcelona. And it probably never was going to work.
I'm just wrote Samuel Umtiti.
Umtiti.
He's one they putting on the transfer list as well.
I think they offered to let him go for free, and he said no.
Fuck. Wow, watch that space, eh?
Yeah,
and there's no one we can get. You think?
Well, so the problem is they're all going to want high wages because. They're
who's going to pay the higher wages? What are they going to do? Like, just stay there, or what's their worst case scenario? I wonder.
Well, that's the option the players have got of just staying there. So, say for example, Pjanic is on 200 grand a week. I'm not saying he is. Their figures were released today, but I can't remember them. But let's just say Pjanic's on 200 grand a week, and Arsenal come in and say we'll give you 120. Why he could just stay there on 200?
Crazy.
Like same as Ntiti. That's why the players are refusing to leave.
Yeah.
It's a mess. Look, they'll find a way out of it. Spanish. What's the best way to say corrupt without being corrupt? That league is so corrupt.
Well, they've got to try and sign Messi too, because I'd imagine he can't even play.
Well, yeah, I mean that's I don't know. As I said,
That's
that
their
league's
big
so
problem.
Well, they've got loads. As I said, they've signed Aguero, Depay, Garcia, and I'm sure there's someone else, but my head's gone. But that's why we were linked with Neto yesterday as well, because everyone knows Barca are in trouble. But I saw his wages today, and I was like, he was only ever going to be a sub keeper, and he's on like, it's not crazy money, but I think he's on like 90k a week, and it's like you're never going to be more than a sub. I think Ter Stegen is quality. I'm not doubting.
Yeah, he's a quality. Yeah.
He's on like 180, I think it was, and I was like, fucking, where do you? I know De Gea's on more, but in general, where do you hear a keeper on that kind of money? Barcelona is the answer.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, mate. Let's wrap this up. We'll be back. It'll be after the final, I think.
Yeah,
the final's on Sunday. So yeah. It'll be after the final. By that stage, we will obviously touch on the final, our thoughts on the final, things like that, and then we'll get back into our Arsenal stuff and a bit of football transfers.
Well, Arsenal are back
like that
tomorrow, so there hopefully some stuff should start happening now, because once you get back into training, you're going to get your ins and outs more sorted. I think most clubs, I don't know what Arsenal do, most clubs have given their players 3 weeks off from when they went out of the Euros. So, for example, Granit, I don't think he'll ever come back to Arsenal, to be honest, but if he was to, it would be 3 weeks from, say, Friday they went out? It'd be 3 weeks from then, sort of thing, if Arsenal are doing what every other club are doing.
Just quickly, I apologise for the comments. I didn't bring this one up. How would Arteta know Saliba wouldn't cut it in the league without an actual playtime, training, etc.? I agree, but
I just think they want to make sure he gets a full season in. Because of his age, he's never played a full season, and it'd be they're not going to say come to Arsenal and you're going to play every game, especially if he's not quite up to it. And the worst thing they could do is try him for the first 5. Transfer window closes, then you realise he's not ready to start week in, week out, and then you're fucked, because it's the same thing that happens last year. Then he sits there on the bench. You haven't got any shitty competitions to put him in, and it becomes difficult. So I think they just want him to play a season, because obviously this first season we loaned him out was COVID hit, and I think he had a couple of injuries as well. Then this season, the one just gone, he didn't play for us for the first 6 months. So I think he only played like 18, 20 games. He needs to play football, especially at that age. Like centre-backs at that age, and I know the stick that Fofana everyone beats is a stick everyone beats you with, but in general, centre-backs at 20 don't exist. So to then bring him in raw without having played that amount of games. And he also, by all accounts, wasn't that impressive for the under-23s. And I know it's different, and he might have felt it was below him and blah, blah, blah. But if you're not impressive for the under-23s, it's then very hard for the manager to say, you know what, go and play every week. Especially with the pressures Arteta's under as well. Like, most people want him out.
I think the whole thing's a mess. I really do. And where I think that is the fact that people tell me, right, and I'll be honest, I haven't watched much of this Saliba play. I didn't sit there last season watching every Saliba game and whatnot. They tell me this guy from Leicester who partnered with Saliba is actually better. I can't be. His name fucks me now.
Fofana.
Yeah. He's actually, they say he's the better guy. We got the wrong bloke. I don't know. I don't know, because I haven't seen much of Saliba still to this day. I want to watch him in the Premier League. I want to watch him for a Southampton, whoever you want to pick. That's where I want to see him. And I think Arteta might be thinking, well, are you going to trust this young bloke with your season? for
Yeah, I
me,
mean, look,
no.
Southampton were a bad example because they got 3 million centre backs.
Yeah, I
But
know. I was just
like,
thinking another
it's
one
just,
as well.
Newcastle. I mean, look, Vieira being
Yeah,
at Palace
yeah.
now makes things interesting.
Yep.
London still very easy to keep an eye on him and whatnot. And he can live. Do you know? For me, I initially said before when it was
Actually,
like he
that's a
might go on loan,
good shout.
I said Watford because he could live in the same house he would live at if he was at Arsenal. Their training ground are literally across the road from each other. And I know when you say across the road because you live in the arse end of nowhere, you mean 25 miles away. Like the Arsenal and Watford training ground are like less than a mile away from each other. Not, I mean, less than a quarter of a mile. So you know what I mean. He could still live in the same place and whatnot.
That'd be
So for
great.
me, that kind of moved Palace there. Newcastle, look, it's the other end of the country, but still, they speak funny though. But it's getting used to England and the way of life and whatnot. I think the best option is an English loan. But what do I know? I'm sitting on a podcast.
Andrew, Man United fan, he says Man United paying way overs for Sancho. Boo boo. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, interesting though. Right, buddy. Thanks again. We'll catch us all next week. You have been listening to the Clock and Talk podcast, an Arsenal podcast talking Euros this time of year. Thanks, buddy.
Cheers.
Thank you, everybody. And as Andrew says, it's not coming home.
No.
All the best to England. I really do hope you guys. I put a lot of shit on this English team, and I fuck around with a bit of banter with you, Tony. But I hope you make it in the final. Look, I'm already right. I know I'm because I said Italy. In our predictions, I said Italy are the ones that are going to be there.
Horses.
I'm sure I said I'll be there.
I said dark horse as well, to be fair.
No, dark horses. Yeah. Okay, agree, Andy. It's now or never for the English. Exactly right. I agree.
I completely disagree with that.
Do you? You think you're going to get better in the World Cup?
Look at the team. So I said a few weeks ago this was Belgium's last chance because you look at the age of most of their players.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You look at England. Look, the World Cup's only 18 months away. Not even 18 months. And you look at them like Bellingham is 17 or just turned 18. Saka's 19. Foden's 20. Sancho, I think, is 21. Declan Rice is still under 24. All throughout the team, Chilwell, Reece James, everyone. Like Kane in 18 months is not going to be finished. Like he'll still be there. Grealish is only 25. So I think
Lewin.
He's young. I think he's 23. Yeah, so okay. I think I don't want to say golden generation because golden generations win things, and I'm not convinced England will. But I think this is the start of a generation for England, not the end. Whereas like a Belgium, that generation started 6 years ago and then it's now finished. I think. Don't look, they're still going to win games because De Bruyne can win games on his own. But you look at their backline and they were creaking already because of the age, and now they're going to be 18 months, 2 years older when the next competition comes around.
Yeah, no, look, mate, good. But John Stones, he'd be getting 28
25, I think. Sterling's only 27, even though he's been around for 300 years. Rashford is under 25.
Your goalkeeper's young too.
Yeah, I mean, goalkeepers can go on forever, but yeah, he's young.
Yeah, he's young.
I'm not sure how old Shaw is. I don't think he's the oldest, but Maguire's not old. And
I just want to actually, before we go, Sure, I have to say, I don't know if you've seen it. There was some things about Mourinho who it was something going on there, right, with Mourinho.
Oh, they hate each other. Well, Mourinho hates him.
Mourinho hates him. But, mate, he was absolutely fantastic for you. And those who can't remember, this guy, he was the bloke who broke his leg twice, I think, wasn't it?
He definitely done it against PSV.
Yeah, and he was. I remember the pictures, and it was very bad. Mate, he was brilliant. It was really good to see him back, and that cross he put in was, well, 2 crosses, I think it was.
Yeah, but he was very good against Germany. It didn't get the credit. His performance against Germany didn't get the credit it deserved, to be honest, because of the whole England-Germany. Kane scored for the first time in 300 years. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He was very. I mean, he got the assist. Did he get the assist, or did he? Yeah, he got the assist for Kane's goal.
He got the assist for Kane's goal, but I was wondering the other one.
Goal, sorry. He got the assist for Sterling's goal.
Sterling's goal, yeah.
Like, yeah, he he had a very good game against Germany, and he was very good the other day. At Southampton, he looked exceptional, and then at United, as you said, he went and broke his leg. He's always had a bit of issues with his weight. Mourinho didn't like him for whatever reason. And look, a lot of United fans are the most biased people on earth. It's kind of painful to talk to them, but a lot of them will tell you he had a good year. Well, the issue is they won't say he had a good year. They'll say he's the best in the world, which is kind of annoying. Because do you know what I mean? You want something to be realistic.
Andy's just popped up with Maguire and Luke Shaw, Man United superstars.
Well, no, I mean, it seems like he's back to somewhere near his best. But as I said, it is kind of hard to gauge with Man United fans because they never say anyone's good. Like they're the world's best. They should. If it was up to them, they'd have 11 Ballon d'Or winners and they'd all be wearing a Man United shirt.
He broke his leg in 2 spots. I just couldn't remember what it was, 2 legs or 2 spots. I remember something, yeah. But anyway, no, he was good, mate. I think, and did we say he starts? I mean, he has to start, doesn't he?
Yeah, as I said, as far as I know, and I've just been receiving messages while we've been doing this that it's kind of leaking in the press now. I think that it's likely, as I said, I'm not going to put my usual 100% on it, but it's likely to be the same 11 except Saka for Sancho.
For Sancho. Righto, that's it. Let's go. Let's get off here. Andy, the Man U fan, he's getting into everything, so I'm out of here before he gets into me. Okay, boys. See you later. Thank you for listening. Good night and goodbye. See you, buddy.
Come on.